Now today we're looking at the popular STP oil filter. As you can see, they make 3 variations of this filter. So we'll go over the price points, the differences, we'll cut it open, see what the components look like, and this will give you a pretty good idea on what to expect from these guys. So price points. This is a $5 filter. It's made in the USA and it's rated up to 5,000 miles. So this is for someone that is changing their oil every 3 months, they're running conventional motor oil, then this is a filter maybe you want to look at. The middle guy here, the Extended Life, this is a $9 filter and it's made in China. Now interestingly enough, we did open up this filter some time ago and back then it was made in South Korea. So that has been updated. Now this is made in China and this is rated up to 10,000 miles and we'll talk more about that in a moment. And then the Maximum Life, this is a $12 filter and again made in the USA just like the blue guy and rated up to 15,000 miles. Okay, so 5,000 miles, 10,000 miles, and 15,000 miles. Now there are some things you can decipher without even cutting open the filter, and you can immediately see that the STP blue can is shorter compared to the Extended Life and the Maximum Life. And that's because these guys have more surface area, more square inches of surface area to filter the oil. Now, how could this last 10,000 miles and this last for 15,000 miles, but it's the exact same size? The circumference is the same, the length is the same. How is that possible? And what it comes down to is what's inside. And what they use here is a synthetic media or a synthetic filter to filter the oil. Here it's a blend. They'll blend the synthetic with what's in here, which is cellulose, polyester, fiberglass, could be a blend. And that's why your high-end filters, your Purolator Boss, AmSoil, Royal Purple, Wix XP, this is what they're running on their high-end filters. They're fully synthetic filters. So you'll see exactly what I mean by cutting open the filter. Okay, let's see what we have here. Now once we cut open the filters, you can quickly see that the construction is a little bit different among all 3, but the components are drastically different. So let's just first talk about the filter itself, the media. So again, with the STP Blue, you get 5,000 miles. You also get metal end caps and a metal center tube. The efficiency rating, I believe, is 95%, probably in the 25 to 30 micron range. Now you would think every oil filter would have metal end caps, but they don't. For example, the Frem Extra Guard and the factory OEM Subaru oil filters, they have a cardboardish end cap. The other one is Toyota. Interestingly enough, Toyota uses, they don't have any end caps. They use a resin to hold their media in place. And what a beautiful filter that is. If you have a Toyota, I would purchase a Toyota oil filter. Really high quality, made in Japan. They do a beautiful job on the construction of their filters. But that being said, this is most likely a cellulose, fiberglass, polyester, could be a blend, and that's typically what you find on your lower costing oil filters. The other thing I will say about this is if you're looking for the neatest construction, Purolator has all 3 of their filters are beautiful. But even their cheapest filter is just very, very nicely made. Very high quality. You won't see any gluing. On the flip side, I will say this. I'm not trying to downgrade this filter, but I did use this filter religiously. Over 2 decades ago, I had a 92 Camaro. And I had that vehicle for maybe 5 years, well over 250,000 miles. And this is the filter that I used. It was either this or the Frem Extra Guard. But I changed my oil and filter every 3 months religiously. Never ever went over 3 months or 3,000 miles. But never ever once had an issue. So the key with these cheaper filters is make sure you change the filter in the oil. Don't go 10,000 miles on a filter like this. You're really asking for trouble. So that's what this is all about. Then you have the Extended Life, and this is a blend. If you take a look at the color, this is bright yellow. This is like a tannish. And then you have white from the Maximum Life. So it's this plus this gives you this. Okay, so this is where you get 99% efficiency, probably in the 25 micron range. That's my guess. Up to 10,000 miles with synthetic motor oil. So if you're looking to get 10,000 miles, make sure you use synthetic motor oil only. Now you can run conventional or blend with any of these filters. You just won't get the longevity. You're really wasting money if you're running conventional motor oil and using this. In a way, you're overpaying for an oil filter. Go with like Bosch or something. But that being said, metal end caps, as you can see, it's not wire backed, which I'll talk more about in a moment. And the other thing is, to me, it almost seems like it's crooked in a sense. You can see how it's sort of angled up a little bit. It's like this end cap was added and then twisted. And I have to say, I'm not a fan of that. When these were made in South Korea, I don't remember that being an issue. I'm not trying to, downgrade China by any means. They make perfectly fine products, but that being said, to me, these were built better in the past. That's that. Then coming over to this guy, this is 99 plus efficiency, and the gluing, the spacing is very, very good. Now, this is really big competition in this price range, because now you're against the Purolator Boss, Wix XP, which is wire back. Wire backing, what that means, what that is, on your higher-end filters, even Royal Purple, Amsoil, they use a wire backing. And if you ever change the filter for your house central air unit, you'll notice that on the better filters, they're wire backed, and that's because you don't want the filter to get blown into the or get sucked into the motor of the furnace. Same theory here, same reason here. What happens over time is the filter will start to degrade, and it will start to scrunch on the inside, and you don't want that to happen, obviously. And the metal backing keeps the conformity of the filter. So in this price range, you can get a Wix XP with wire backing. So that's a thing to take note when you're looking at these high-end filters. There's a lot of competition. So these are not wire backed, and I will double check. I will cut this open in a moment, but that's just something to take note. The other thing is, there's a safety device among all three, and really every filter that we've opened. If this or any filter starts to degrade, and if it clogs up, you have a little safety device here. This is a bypass valve. So this little valve would open up, and unfiltered oil would go back into the engine. Again, it's a safety device. So that's where it's located on the blue can. Right here, it's in the middle of the top of the end cap on the Extended Life, and same with the Maximum Life. This is where it's located, okay? And then these are just stamped pieces of steel, and this uses a coil spring. And the whole point behind these components is it keeps all of these parts really compact. So you typically find a stamped piece of steel, but once in a while you'll come across the coil spring. I like the coil spring. To me, it's just a little bit high quality. And then moving over here, this is your anti-drain back valve. Now what this valve does, when you shut off the engine, instead of having all the oil drain out of the oil filter, this retains the oil in the filter. So the next time you start your vehicle, you don't have a dry start. There's oil readily available. Now where you see the difference is the type of material that they use. On your lower costing oil filters, they use rubber, nitrile rubber. On your higher end oil filters, they will use silicone. And silicone has a wider temperature range band. I believe it's down to minus 80 degrees Fahrenheit and up to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And it also has the longevity. Nitrile rubber just can't last as long as silicone. So that's where you're also paying the money. And even in the gasket, here you have nitrile rubber on the gasket. Then once you get to Extended Life, they're using a silicone gasket. So, it's smart. This is what you're paying extra for. So all these little things make a difference. And then on the Maximum Life, look at the difference on the thickness of the gasket. Now, this may not even be silicone. This could be ethylene acrylic or some other superior compound to silicone. But no matter what, ultimately, you're paying a little bit more money, $3 more. You got a real thick filter, and look at the difference in the anti-drain back valve. Look how much beefier the anti-drain back valve is on the Maximum Life compared to the Extended Life. Pretty darn amazing. So I hope this gives you a pretty darn good idea on what these filters are all about. Again, I apologize, I have a slight cold, so I hope I'm not forgetting anything. But I think I covered all of the points. Let me just quickly open up this filter. I just want to double check that it's not wire backed. I don't think it is. And we'll wrap it up. And as I suspected, it's not wire backed. Okay? If If you do want wire backing in this price range, go with Wix XP. You can also go with Amsoil, Royal Purple, but you're paying a little bit more money. Once in a while, I'll get a comment that someone can find really good prices of Amsoil. I have no one around here that sells Amsoil for like 12 bucks, but if you can find an Amsoil for $12, that's a really good price. But that being said, that's what we're looking at here. So thank you for watching. Again, any comments, questions, please leave it below, and we'll see you next time.